Hi everyone, it's Ada here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So, today's video is going to be a juicy one. Well, it's juicy in my opinion. So, backstory, quick backstory. A few weeks ago, I went on my private story and I was like, do I film a story time about my craziest hookup? I was like, I'm not sure. If one person responds, I will do it. And I think I had like 40 people on my private story and maybe like 10 responded. So, you know, I was only out looking for one person to say yes and 10 people did. So here we are. That is what this video is going to be. My craziest hookup story, my $10,000 hookup story. Now, it's a little crazy. Like, my life at this point in time, like when this happened to me, I didn't think my life was real. And it just felt really crazy. You know, we're here, we're in 2021, it's April now, and my life has returned back to normal. But at the time when this happened, my life didn't feel real, because what was I doing? Like, why was this happening to me? So, if you guys want to hear about my craziest hookup story, my $10,000 hookup story while watching me get ready, then just keep on watching. Yes, she's juicy. Alrighty, so just to clarify a few things. First off, all of the makeup products that I am using in this video will be listed in the description down below, just in case you're wondering. And two, this is a light-hearted story time. I have nothing against this person. I hope they have nothing against me. This was a while ago. And it's really just funny to look back on now. And I laugh about it. I remember laughing about it with my friends, and we still do sometimes, like if the topic ever comes up about like hookups or like sexual experiences. This is always my go-to to tell people because I just think it sounds crazy. So, alrighty, this story takes place about a year and a half ago, I want to say, in September 2019. I was a brand new university student, first year social sciences. I was ready, I was feeling good, I had met new friends, everything was going good. Everything was really going good. The only thing that wasn't going good was my love life, and my love life has never gone good. But at this point in time, I was at a very low point, because guess what app I was using? Still, grindr, if you want to know, if you didn't know the answer. And I'm pretty sure all of the lowest points in my life occurred at times when I was still using grindr. So I've never been the type of person to meet people willy-nilly off of dating apps, like talk for a day and then meet, until very recently, but that's besides the point. And I was definitely a lot more, you know, cautious on grindr, because, you know, there's horror stories of people like getting hate crimes, or people even worse getting killed when meeting people off of grindr. So I was very cautious. But at the time, I was very early on in my transition, in my medical transition, in my physical transition, and men on Tinder or Bumble or Hinge, I didn't even know what Hinge was at the time, but men on those kinds of dating apps weren't even willing to like look at me, weren't even willing to give me a chance. So grindr felt like my only option, and I was very picky with the people I talked to. You know, I got a lot of people trying to talk to me, because, you know, I guess I look good back then. I think I looked hideous, but, you know, obviously I was early in my transition, I looked completely different. So I started talking to this one guy who I thought was kind of cute through his pictures. He was really nice. I don't remember his name, but we're gonna call him Phil, because I know his name is definitely not Phil. So I started talking to Phil, I want to say like mid-September 2019, and we talked over grindr for like, I want to say a week or two, got to know each other a little bit better. He was in the medical field. He was in like his mid-20s, and he was, you know, continuing his education in the medical field. He was in the medical field. I was a brand new university student. I was freshly 18 because my birthday's in August. He was like mid-20s, like 23, 24. So I think we had been talking for about 2 weeks. So by this point, it was like the end of September, like close to October. And he finally was like, why don't you come to my place for a night, and, you know, we can like hang out, watch a movie, you know, do things. He asked me to come up to his place for a night. It was like, you know, midweek at this point. He was like, come up to my place on Friday night, and, you know, we can hang out for the night, you know, order food, watch a movie, you know, do the whole thing, get a little frisky as well. And I was very hesitant, because I get anxious about everything, but I was like, you know what, let's do it. I'm gonna do it. You know, I don't usually make decisions like this, but I'm gonna do it. And the thing is, I go to school in like a relatively big city, but this person, Phil lived in Toronto, and Toronto is the biggest city in Canada. And I was like, well, fuck, how am I supposed to get to his place? How am I supposed to get to Toronto, let alone get to his place? And so I came up with a genius plan that my dad still does not know about. Dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I decided that I was gonna go home for the weekend, except on Friday night, I was gonna take my dad's car, which, you know, I drive more than him because he's a work car, but I was gonna take his car and drive back to my school to party with my friends, and then I would stay the night and drive home the next afternoon. And so I went home for the weekend, maybe because I had something to do, I don't remember, but I went home for the weekend and I was like, oh, can I take the car back to school so I can party with my friends and then I will come back once I sober up like the next afternoon? He was like, yeah, sure. So I got my stuff together, I got like a backpack together, and I said goodbye to my family, my dad and my 2 brothers, and I was off. But was I off to school? No. I was off to the train station so I could take the train to Toronto, and then Phil would pick me up and we'd go back to his place. I was shitting bricks the entire time because, you know, I made this decision to do it, but I get nervous about literally everything. I get anxious very easily. And so, like, on the drive to the train station, you know, I was still a very anxious driver on the highway, and I was just, like, thinking about everything. I was like, what if my dad finds out? Like, what, he's gonna kill me. He is going to kill me. I want to say it was, like, a 30-minute drive to the train station, and I had to take a very busy highway. I was very nervous about that, and then, you know, I made it to the train station, obviously, and I parked my car, like, really far back where no other cars were. I walked to the train station, and I was buying my ticket. And I think it was, like, a day ticket so that I didn't have to buy a ticket on the way back. And it was, like, $25. So, you know, doing my thing. I was, you know, using a little machine. And this is, like, a tangent, like, a side story. But there were these 2 people. They were a couple, I'm assuming. And it was a man and a woman. They looked a little disheveled. You know, that's not mean, but they looked a little rough around the edges. And they were in the terminal, and then they eventually went out right outside the terminal, and they kept looking at me while I was purchasing my ticket. And eventually the woman comes in. And she comes up to me and she's like, like, sorry to bother you, but, like, you know, we're really nice people. She kept reiterating that they were really nice people, and she eventually asked me, she's like, are you a man or a woman? I was like, I'm a woman. And then she, like, turns around, looks through the glass door back at her, like, boyfriend, and she, like, looks at me again. She's like, but, like, do you have a penis or a vagina? And I remember I stood there and I just, like, looked at her like she was the dumbest bitch in the world, because it takes a lot of balls to comment on someone's, you know, private parts online, let alone in person. So, you know, props to her. She had courage. But I cannot believe she asked me what was in between my legs. And I looked at her and I was like, that's none of your business. And I walked away, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we're really nice people. And I, like, just kept walking. I was like, please just go away. Go away. And eventually she did, because I got far away enough and I was, you know, walking to the platform waiting for my train. But I still can't believe that happened. I want to say it was like 6 p.m. maybe, when I, like, got on the train, and I think it was, like, a little bit over an hour to get to the stop that I had to get off on. So I'm pretty sure by the time I got there, it was, like, 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish, and I remember it was dark out already, and it was freezing, and I was wearing, like, a crop sweater and skinny jeans, and I was freezing. And, you know, he was texting me, I was texting him, because he couldn't find me, I couldn't find him. It turns out he went to the wrong area, and so he had to, like, go around and come to the right parking lot. We eventually found each other. It was, you know, fine and dandy, but I stood in the freezing cold for, like, I want to say, like, 30 minutes because we just couldn't find each other. I was freezing. I almost died. Okay, I'm being a little dramatic, but it was definitely cold. So we eventually found each other, you know, we said hi to each other. You know, the first interaction when you first meet in person is really awkward. And we did, like, the awkward hug. It was weird. And then we walk back to the parking lot, we get in his car, and we eventually drive to his place. I want to say it was like a 10-15 minute drive. It definitely was not far from the parking lot at all. We had, you know, Phil and I had small talk in the car, like, how was your day? Like, blah, 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 you know, typical stuff like that. And so we eventually get back to his place, and I knew he had money. He had forms of money. He was not, you know, poor at all. But when we got to his place, I am telling you, I was not expecting what I saw, what I walked into. So we arrive at this like apartment complex, this apartment building, and you know, he parks his car in the underground parking, and then we take the elevator up. I want to say that there was like 14 floors or like 12 floors in this apartment building, and he was like either the top floor or like 1 or 2 floors down. And so we, you know, get off the elevator on like the 12th floor, I think, and you know, we're walking, it's like carpeted, it looks rich, like it looks, I'm like, where am I? Like, I'm from a small town where like areas like this don't exist. I was like shook. It was like culture shock. I'm telling you, when we got to his apartment and he opened the door and we walked in, I was shocked. It was like this penthouse apartment, and it was so nice. It was so pretty. It was like, the aesthetic was just so good. And we walk, so like, I'll try to explain the layout. This was a while ago, so I can't really remember. We walk in, there's like a little like shoe rack, like a little like closet area for like your coats and stuff. When you walk a little bit further, on the right was the kitchen with like a kitchen island. It was like completely marbled. It was bougie. It was so nice. And then beside the kitchen was like a little living room area with a couch and a big ass TV. And then to the left when you walk in, so the right's the kitchen, to the left is a bathroom for like guests, I'm assuming. And then when you walk through the living room, there is giant windows. And we're 12 floors up. You can see so much of the city. You can see so much of Toronto. Toronto's like kind of really pretty at night because of all the lights. And so it's like glass all along. There is a like wall divider that separates his bedroom, like his bed, from like the living room. And then there's a connecting washroom to his bedroom. So there's 2 washrooms in this, like, it wasn't like a super big apartment, but it was super nice. And I was like, damn. So we walk in. He, you know, shows me around a little bit. He's like, you know, this is the kitchen, this is the guest bathroom, this is the living room, this is my bedroom, blah, blah, blah. After he shows me around, I put my like backpack down, I put my stuff down, and then we sit on the couch, and I think we just talk a little bit. We talk for a little while, and you know, it's just like small talk, like how's school going? What are you studying? I'm pretty sure we'd already talked about this because we've been talking for like, I think 2 weeks at this point. And he was like, what are you studying? How are your studies going? I asked him about like, you know, his, you know, schooling, how his stuff was going. His stuff was very rigorous. So I was like, how's it going? Are you like enjoying it? Is it tough? Obviously it's tough, Ada. But after talking for a little while, he's like, do you want to watch a movie or do you want to watch something? I was like, sure, let's, you know, check out Netflix or whatever. And so he, you know, turns on his TV, his big TV. It was pretty big. And we start scrolling through Netflix, and, you know, I'm a very indecisive person, so I was like, you know, hoping he would want to pick the movie, but he kept asking me what I wanted to watch, and I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Like, you're asking the wrong person. I, you know, can't make a decision for the life of me. And I'm pretty sure we scrolled through Netflix for like maybe like 20, 30 minutes because we, first off, couldn't decide what genre we wanted to watch. And then when we would pick a genre, we would look through the movies of that genre and nothing would catch our eye, so we'd have to like start fresh and start all over again and pick another genre. Eventually, after like, you know, 30 minutes of deliberation, we decided on a comedy movie, and we decided on Bad Teacher with Cameron Diaz, I think her name is. Phenomenal movie. I love that movie. It's so fun. It's so funny. That car wash scene, love it. Cameron Diaz is so hot. So we watch the movie, we eat our pizza, you know, it's going good, we know, talk a little bit more during the movie, but you know, our main focus was on the movie. And so eventually he, you know, gets the courage to like, you know, pull me closer and we start cuddling. At this time, I was very nervous and I could not make a move or, you know, initiate something for the life of me. I still can't. Nothing has changed. A year and a half later, we finished watching the movie, we cuddled for a little bit, and then I want to say it was like 11 or, yeah, maybe like 11:30 p.m. at this point, and we sort of just like sat on the couch for a little bit longer after the movie ended, and then he was like, do you want to move to the bedroom? You know, signaling, do you want to get a little bit frisky? And I was like, yeah, sure, yeah. So if any of my family members are watching this, please click off the video, go watch something else. Go watch, you know, a show. or a movie, just anything but this video, because I'm going to be going into some detail of, you know, the action that happened that night, and I don't want you guys to hear this. I've been holding this information until now because I wanted to save it until, like, I talked about the frisky details, but the whole reason he was on Grindr and the whole reason I was going, or the main reason I went, was not to hang out, but it was because he wanted someone to suck his dick. And he was offering someone $400 to make him finish. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Like, you know, I can go hang out with someone that's, you know, pretty nice. I've been talking to him for 2 weeks, and I could possibly get $400 if I make him finish. Spoiler alert, I did not get the $400 because I did not make him finish, and I will tell you why in a second. As I said, he was looking for someone to make him finish, make him come. I was offered them $400. You know, we go to the bedroom, and I think a big part of the reason why this experience was so not good was because there was no foreplay to the foreplay. Sucking dick and, you know, eating ass or eating pussy is like foreplay before, like, penetration, before intercourse. But I was not there to have intercourse, and he was not there to fuck me. So he just wanted someone to suck his dick. The foreplay to the foreplay, in my opinion, is like making out. Making out can really set the mood. Making out was one of my favorite things to do. I love making out. And we did not kiss once. He just didn't like kissing. And so we just didn't do it. And I think that's a big part of the reason why the experience was so unenjoyable for me. And why, like, you know, sucking his dick didn't do much. There's another reason, which I'll get into in a second. But, you know, it like didn't work for either of us because, you know, there was no foreplay to the foreplay, as I was saying. So we literally get to the bed, we take our clothes off, and so he's like laying against the headboard. He's like sort of like in like an L. He's like sitting up, and then I'm backwards, so my ass is in his face. As I said, I'm going into detail. And so I was attempting to suck his dick. This is the second reason why it didn't work, in my opinion. And this is not body shaming, but there was nothing to suck. There was barely anything there. I don't care about size as long as I can do something to it if you want me to do something to it. And I couldn't do anything to it. Like, it was hard and it was still quite small. And it just wasn't working. And I have a bad gag reflex when it comes to most things. Like, you know, sometimes I gag when I'm brushing my teeth, and, you know, it's just not good. I have a bad gag reflex. And it wasn't like I could go all the way down and it was nowhere near the back of my throat. And it was not working. I'm pretty sure we sat there. So as I was sucking his dick, he was, you know, slapping my ass, doing his thing. I don't fucking know. And so I was doing most of the work, and nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. Nothing felt good for me, and I bet you it didn't feel good for him. So I'm honestly, after like 20, 30 minutes trying to suck his dick and trying to make him come, we just decided to stop. So there was my $400. He gave me another chance the next morning. He was like, do you still want the $400? And I was about to leave back to the train station so I could go home. And he was like, do you want to try again? Like, the $400 is still on the table. And I'm pretty sure I literally said, no, I'm not into it. Like, I'm not feeling it. And he looked so devastated when I said no. But I wasn't. Like, yeah, no. It wasn't working for me. And it wasn't working for him. And it just wasn't working for either of us. So eventually we just like decided to stop. Like, I went and brushed my teeth. I took off my makeup. I did my skincare. At this point, it was like 12:30. And, you know, once we were both ready to get into bed, we just lay there for a while and talked a little bit more. And this is where like the $10,000 comes in. Because I'm going to try to be very vague here so no one can like potentially get in trouble. You know, the slim chance. But he had a very close friend who was a manager of the beauty department at a department store, at a very famous, you know, expensive, high-end department store. And so he brought it up and he was like, oh, I always get like beauty and skincare stuff from her for free and give them to like my mom and, you know, my female relatives. And I was like, no way. And he was like, go on the department store's website and like pick out some pick out a few things. He was like, oh, I can text her like if you want, and you know, you can pick out a few things and you know, she'll send them to me and then I'll send them to you. I ended up going on the department store's website. We, you know, did it together. We were laying in bed together, and I picked out maybe like 5 or 6 things. And this is like a high-end department store, so the beauty products and the skincare products are going to be expensive. Like, they're going to be a little bit pricey. So I did, and I think I picked out 5 or 6 things initially, and that probably came to like somewhere between $1,000 and like $1,500. And I thought that was way too much. I thought I was like overstepped my boundary, and I thought I was asking for too much. And he was like, he texted his friend right there. I was like, here's a list of things, can you get them for me? And she texted back. I was like, yeah, is there anything else? And so he was like, pick out as many things as you want. So I was picking out duplicates of shit. Like, for example, I picked out a Chanel bronzer, like the Chanel cream bronzer that everyone loves. I picked that out. My favorite primer in the whole world is the Sicily Double Tensor Primer, which costs like $300. I picked out 2 or 3 of those. And he was like, you can pick out more and more. And so eventually I ended up picking out like a whole list of things that I went and calculated everything, because I had the list on like my phone. I went back and looked at it and calculated it the next day when I got home, and it was like $10,000 worth of beauty and skincare. And he sent her the entire list after I was done, maybe like 30 plus products. And she was like, okay, done, I'll send it to you. And he didn't tell her that it was for like a hookup or, you know, me. He just told them that it was for like a family or a family member or something. And so literally there was the confirmation there that she was gonna send it, and you know, he was gonna send it to me. And I was like, damn. And I remember bragging to my friends when I got back the, you know, following week, so like the Monday or the Sunday afternoon, because I ended up spending the rest of the weekend at home. But I ended up like telling my friends how it went, and we were all like so excited. I was gonna do a skincare haul for my old YouTube channel. Obviously, the products never arrived on my doorstep, and here's why. So, the next morning, I think we got up at like 8. He had to do something that day, and I also, you know, kind of wanted to go home. So I think I was gone by like 12. I think my train was at like 12. So I left his apartment at like 11:30. And we like talked a little bit more, and he wanted to try to get frisky again, you know, like $400 is still on the table. And so I was like kind of reluctant, but I was like, okay, let's try it. Here's the thing. This is a little TMI, a little gross. As a trans woman, pre-op at this time, it's gonna be ambiguous as to what I have down there now, but I was pre-op at this time, and I was so nervous for a multitude of reasons to ever have sex pre-op, because that means I would have to do anal. Basically, there's a lot of preparation that goes into having anal sex. You gotta like clean it out down there, and you have to make sure it's like really clean, or else it's gonna get messy. And I, you know, had prepared for the night before, and everything was fine the night before, but obviously bodily functions happen overnight, and like, you know, when it was clean the night before, it might not be clean the next morning. So he was trying to like rub, and this is getting really TMI, and I'm like getting kind of uncomfortable, but I'm gonna say it. So he was trying to like, I don't want to say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it. He was trying to like rub his dick in between my ass cheeks, and sometimes it like, you know, he put lube in there so like it, you know, motion would happen. And we did that over his like kitchen island. So I was like leaning on the kitchen island, and he was like doing that. He was taller than me. He was like 6'4", I want to say. And we did that for maybe like 10 minutes, and it was not comfortable at all. So eventually I pushed him off, and you know, there was some mess, you know. This is very TMI, I'm so sorry. But there was some mess, and he got mad at me for it being messy. I can't help my bodily functions, bitch. Also, I was not the one that wanted to do this. And so like, I went into the bathroom, I like cleaned myself off, I like took a quick shower, like did the whole thing. And you know, he like cleaned himself off. It was gross. And the fact that he, you know, got mad at me and like blamed me for it, like, I'm sorry, I can't help my bodily functions. Like, you know, it was super embarrassing, and I was really embarrassed about it at the time. But then I looked I reflected and I was like, why am I embarrassed? Like, why am I embarrassed about bodily functions? So after that, after we both cleaned ourselves up, he drove me back to the train station. I said bye, you know, the whole thing, you know, and then I waited for my train, which was at like noon, I said. Then I got back to the train station and I got super nervous because my phone ended up dying because I ended up not charging my phone. I forgot to charge it overnight, and I used it as a GPS to like get to the train station. I was gonna use it to get back home. Thank God I like remembered the path I took, and you know, all was well. You know, I got back home. My dad was like, "How was the party?" I said it was good. Blah blah blah. You know, all the jazz. The party was really good. And yeah, that's basically where the main story ends. But, you know, there's a little bit more, obviously, because, you know, this wouldn't be an aidakebick story without more drama, a little bit of drama between me and Phil. So, Phil and I didn't really text each other, like, at all. After this, I think I texted him. I think I got really annoyed and texted him maybe like a month or two later, and I straight up said like, where are my products? Like, where are these skincare and makeup products? And I think he texted back and he was like, oh, I kept them because you never came back and saw me. And I was like, whoa, 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 like, where is this going? Like, how am I supposed to know I'm supposed to come back if you don't invite me? Like, I'm not just gonna randomly show up to your apartment. I'm not just gonna randomly take a train to Toronto and show up to your apartment if I don't know, A, if you want me to come back, or B, if you're there, or C, if you're, like, interested. And he has the audacity to say it. He went, like, he replied and he was like, no, I did invite you back. Like, I said it when you came here. Never said it. He never said the words, come back, like, I want you to come back. He never fucking said it. So, at the end of the day, he got the skincare products and makeup products from his friend because she sent them to him and then he was going to give them to me, and he kept them, and I'm assuming he like gave them to like his family or like his close friends, and I never got my skincare products or my makeup products, and I was really annoyed, but you know, I didn't pay anything for them, so I wasn't, you know, too mad. I just was really annoyed and frustrated that he had the audacity to be like, I just expected you to come back. Like, he never told me to come back. He never invited me back. I'm not just gonna take an hour and a half long train to Toronto on a random Friday or Saturday night and just randomly show up. This isn't like a 5-minute drive, bitch. This is an hour and a half long train ride after a half an hour drive to the train station from my hometown, which means I would have to go home for the weekend from my residence because I lived on residence first year. And he was like, I just expected you to come back. He was like, I invited you back. No, you didn't, bitch. That's basically where the story ends. Quick TLDR, a quick summary. I was invited to this guy's apartment in Toronto to hook up and, you know, hang out and make him come for $400. I didn't end up doing that because there wasn't much to suck and there wasn't much foreplay for the foreplay. He didn't want to make out, and, you know, making out really sets the mood in my opinion. So yeah. Then we, you know, that didn't work, so we ended up laying in his bed, and his friend was a manager of the beauty department at a big department store, and he let me pick out like a bunch of products, $10,000 worth of products that she was going to send him and then he would give to me. She said fine. He texted her in front of me, showed me the text, you know, yada yada yada. Then we went to bed, and then the next morning he wanted to, you know, get a little sexual again. It got a little messy. He got mad at me because, you know, bodily functions, and then he drove me back to the train station. I went home, you know, told my dad that the party that I didn't go to was fun, the party that didn't happen. And then, you know, a month or two later, I texted Phil, and I was like, where are my products? Are my products even coming? And he was like, no, I kept them because I expected you to come back. When you never came back to see me again. And I was like, well, you never invited me back. And he was like, yeah, I did. And we have never spoken again. And I never got my $10,000 for the product. So that is the end of the story time. I am going to go off camera, finish my makeup, and then I will come back on camera and I will do the outro. So that's a story for you. Alrighty guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this juicy story time. Maybe it was more juicy in my head, but you know, I still think it's very interesting and, you know, a monumental moment. It should be in, no, it shouldn't. I was gonna say it should be in textbooks, but, you know, as I thought about it more, no, I shouldn't. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash the like button down below and that big red subscribe button. All my social medias will be in the description: Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitter. If you want to DM me on any of those social medias and ask me questions, just talk, give me video ideas, they're always open, and my DMs are always open, especially on Instagram. So yeah, guys, that is it for today's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.